Hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel and welcome to another reading vlog where I'm gonna be reading A Court of Thorns and Roses. So A Court of Thorns and Roses is the first book in a series of the same name, which is fantasy, romantasy, and I've been wanting to read this series for, a long time because it's like so popular. Like I feel like everyone has read this series except for me. And so, I really wanted to read it, but also I was kind of nervous about going into it because I love fantasy. Fantasy is, I would say, my favorite genre of book, but I don't like romance. Most of the times I don't like or care about the romances in stories. So when they're like too focused on the romance, I get like bored. I don't really care about it. So, I was excited to get into this new fantasy world, but I was also scared that it was going to be too much romance for me. So, mixed expectations here. But I was also very excited to like talk to my bestie about it because she has read the books. And I mean, not all of them, but she has read the first couple books. And so, I was excited to read it and to talk to her about it. And yeah, so I just want to say that also before we get into it, there are definitely spoilers in this vlog. And there are spoilers for like things that I know in future books, only like in terms of the romance, because the romance is the only thing that I know spoilers or like that I knew spoilers about beforehand. So I spoil kind of romance things from future books in terms of the like fantasy plot. It's just for this book. So yeah, having said that, let's just get into it. Okay, so I am on page 137 of ACOTAR, and so basically in the past, the Fae used to kind of rule over the humans and like treated them horribly, enslaved them, and then there was a war, and basically they were divided into two different territories, like the humans and the Fae live in different territories, and there was a treaty that was made between them. And the main character of this book that we're following is called Farah, and she is a human. And in the beginning of the book, she kills a wolf in the woods. And then it turns out that wolf was actually not an actual wolf, it was a fae. And then another fae appears there, like at her house where she lives with her two older sisters and their father. And basically, he says that, like, according to the treaty, she either has to die, like, for killing that fae, or she has to go with him to, like, the fae land to live there. And so she goes with him to live at his house, and that fae is called Tamlin, and he's the High Lord of the Spring Court, I think. And there's also a guy called Lucian, another fae, like, living with him, like, kind of working for him. And then they tell her that there is like a blight, a sort of curse that affects the magic. And also, like, everyone from the Spring Court, I think everyone from the Spring Court, they all have like masks like stuck on their face, basically, because they were wearing masks when like something happened, and so they have the masks like forever on their face. And then like Lucian is talking to her about the blight, and she asks, what happened to the magic to make it act that way? And he says, something was sent from the shitholes of hell. I shouldn't have said that. If word got back to her. So there's a her that is important, apparently, somehow. And then we learn about some other creatures that our main character encounters. Like, one of them basically, like, you'll be fine if you don't acknowledge it. If you acknowledge it, it will kill you. And then there's another one that will like use your like wishes, your desires to trick you and lure you into somewhere to basically eat you. So that's fun. And I mean that's really fun. And then Farah also learns about the, I think, surreal, I don't know how to say it, that are like a type of fae that will like tell you like answers to your questions. So she goes to find one to basically ask if there is like any loophole, like to make her be able to leave, like get out of the treaty, get out of her situation, go back to her family, which honestly, like her family treated her not well, so I think she's better off there anyway. But yeah, the Surreal tells her that there is no way. She has to like stay with Tamlin basically, and like she'll be safer with him and like doing what he wants. And the Surreal also tells her like something else about the blight. Like she asks again like what happened to the magic, like where did the thing come from? And the Surreal says, "Stay with the High Lord. That's all you can do. You will be safe. Do not interfere. Do not go looking for answers after today, or you will be devoured by the shadow over Prithian. He will shield you from it, so stay close to him, and all will be righted. Across the violent Western Sea, there is another fairy kingdom called Hybern, possibly, ruled by a wicked, powerful king. Yes, a king, not a High Lord. There his territory is not divided into courts. There he is law unto himself. Humans no longer exist in that realm, though his throne is made of their bones. For some time now, the king of Hybern has found himself unhappy with the treaty the other ruling high fae of the world made with you humans long ago. He resents that he was forced to sign it, to let his mortal slaves go, and to remain confined to his damp green isle at the edge of the world. And so, 100 years ago, he dispatched his most trusted and loyal commanders, his deadliest warriors, remnants of the ancient armies that he once sailed to the continent to wage such a brutal war against you humans. All of them as hungry and vile as he, and spies and courtiers and lovers. They infiltrated the various high fae courts and kingdoms and empires around the world for 50 years. And when they had gathered enough information, he made his plan. But nearly 5 decades ago, one of his commanders disobeyed him, the Deceiver. And then the Surreal stops talking because there is like another creature there that I think is called the Naga. And so basically they are attacked by the Naga, and then Tamlin gets there and saves Farah. And that is basically where I'm at. And I'm liking it. I'm definitely liking it. I'm like intrigued about the fantasy part, like the magic and the creatures and like all of these secrets. I am definitely intrigued more than I thought I would be. Like, it has more fantasy. For now, it has more fantasy than I was expecting, and less romance than I was expecting, although I feel like it will start having more romance from here on. But yeah, I'm liking it. I'm not like loving it, I'm not obsessed with it, but I'm liking it. I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good time. I don't like the romance that will develop. Like, I can already tell that I will not like the romance that will develop between Farah and Tamlin. But like, I know that I'm not supposed to like it anyway, or at least like in the long run, I'm not supposed to like it anyway, so that's cool. And Lucian, like, I don't know if I'm supposed to like Lucian, because like I'm pretty sure I'm not supposed to like Tamlin, and I in fact do not. I don't know if I just don't like him because I know I'm not supposed to like him, again, in the long run, but I don't like him. I certainly do not like him. But Lucian, I really like Lucian. He's very funny. And Farah, also, it just started raining a lot. I don't know if you can hear it. Probably not, because there's like a lot of traffic, so you can probably hear the traffic and not the rain. But anyway, Farah is a bit annoying. She's kind of annoying me, but like, she's fine. She's okay. I don't love her, but I don't hate her either. Like, she's okay. So yeah, I'm liking it. I'm having a good time, and I'm very intrigued, like I said, about the fantasy. So I'm going to read another third of the book, and I will be back. Okay, so I have read another third. I'm on page 274, and I think the first thing that happened since my other update was that another Fae, I think he was from the Summer Court, maybe, he was found by either Tamlin or Lucian, or both. He was found, and his wings had been like ripped off, and he kept saying, "She took my wings." So immediately I just, assumed the she is the same she that they kept referring to. And then there was some sort of ritual, festivity, something at I think the start of spring. And so in that, like, Lucian explains to Farah that she needs to like stay away, like in the house, hidden, because Tamlin is gonna get like wild and he's gonna find someone to mate with, and he can't like smell her around because that would be dangerous for her. But obviously, being the dumbass that she is, she goes to the thing, and she is like immediately like other Fae approach her and they are not, very friendly. But she's saved by the hottest man she has ever seen, which I knew like in the moment that it had to be a resend because I know things about the romance. And yeah, he saves her, and then like she goes back to Tamlin's house, but then Tamlin said that like he could smell her there, and so like he followed her to the house, and then he bit her, and that happened. And then they find, like, after that is done and over with, they find a head in the garden of Tamlin's house. And, like, it was branded with, like, the Night Court symbol. And then Rysand, who is the High Lord of the Night Court, I think, he gets to Tamlin's house, and he is very hostile. And he basically, like, they mention Amarantha, which is like a name I've heard before, like I've heard people talk about it, but I actually know nothing about her. Like, I knew like some things about other characters, like the ones that had already appeared, pretty much all of them. But Amarantha, like, I've heard the name, but I don't know like really exactly who she is. But yeah, they mention her, and she seems to be very dangerous. And after Rysand like leaves, Tamlin tells Farah that she needs to go back to like her house, like to live with her family because she's not safe there, and he basically like forces her to go. And she, gets back to her family, and then the like her sister, one of them, Nesta, says that like she knows what she's been up to because like supposedly, or I mean, I guess actually Tamlin put a glamour on them, so they thought that she was, somewhere else and not just with a Fae. But the glamour didn't work on Nesta, which honestly is pretty iconic of her. But yeah, she stays there still, waiting, hoping that she would be called back to Tamlin, but she doesn't get called back. But then one day, one of her sisters, or her father, someone tells her that like a house burned down, and it was the house of like the family of the girl whose name she used like for Rysand. She told like a fake name, and like that girl like whose name she gave, like her house burned down, and I think she like they didn't find her body, so I'm assuming she was taken. So Farah decides to go back to the fairy land, and she goes back to Tamlin's house and like tries to see if Lucian or Tamlin are there, and neither of them are there, and that is where I'm at. That is what happened. And I'm still liking it. I'm still not loving it. And honestly, like in terms of the characters, I don't really like anyone. I think the only character I still like is Lucian, just because like he's really funny. And everyone else I don't particularly like. I hate the romance between Farah and Tamlin, which I guess is not a bad thing, but yeah, I definitely hate it. I don't like Tamlin. I like Farah, like she's okay, but she's pretty annoying to me. So don't love her either. Her sisters definitely don't love either of them. Definitely don't like either of them. And like I know Nesta is the bitch, and I should probably hate her more, but actually Elaine pisses me off way more than Nesta. So that's what's happening. And like Rhys, I don't know him yet. And I mean, I think you are supposed to not like him in the beginning because he's, clearly, like I said, hostile. So yeah, it's going. It's fine. I'm enjoying it, but I'm certainly not loving it. But I'm like telling my friend like where I am in the book, and she says that like I'm about to get to the good part. So I'm excited to get to the good part. And like I'm still intrigued about the fantasy part and like the magical secrets. I'm still intrigued about that. So like that's why I'm enjoying. But yeah, I'm excited to get to the part that she says is great. And yeah, that's it for now. These are my thoughts so far, and I'm going to read the last third, finish the book, and I will be back. Okay, so I finished the book, and in this last third, basically like after Farah gets to Tamlin's house, she is told by someone who is actually there, where Tamlin and Lucian were taken, and so she goes after them. And I mean, before she even goes after them, like she learns who Amarantha really is and like why she cursed everyone, and also that Tamlin's curse will be broken if like a human who hated Fae fell in love with him. Like a human who killed a Fae because she hated Fae so much fell in love with Tamlin, then his curse would be broken. And so he actually sent people, like some of his people, to the human like side on purpose, so they would be, you know, killed by a human to then take the human to, so the human would fall in love with him. So like the wolf she killed, like it was there on purpose. And so yeah, she goes there to get Tamlin out because she says that she loves him. Amarantha gives her like 3 tasks that she has to complete, and if she completes the tasks, she will release Tamlin and Lucian, I think. And like it's either those 3 tasks or a riddle that she has to solve, but she like doesn't know the answer to the riddle, which like was really obvious what it was from the beginning. But anyway, she starts doing her tasks, and like the first task slash trial, whatever, she has to like kill a giant worm, and like she does kill it, but also she gets like pretty badly hurt. And so Resend goes to her and like says that he will heal her in exchange for her to stay a week with him like every month. And like they negotiate the time because at first he wants 2 weeks, she wants just like a couple days, but they settle on a week. And then like he heals her, but he leaves a mark on her. And then in her second trial, like it involves Lucian, and Resend like actually helps her win this second trial. And then in the third trial, she has to kill 3 innocent Fae, and like she kills the first 2, and then the third is actually Tamlin. And she knows that like Amarantha chose Tamlin because she obviously wouldn't kill him, and therefore she would fail the tasks and he wouldn't be free. But then she remembered things that she overheard, and somehow she like pieced it together that Tamlin has a heart of stone. Like she couldn't figure out the freaking riddle that was so obvious, but she figured out that Tamlin has an actual heart of stone. So, you know, there's that. She figured that out. She stabbed him. He obviously doesn't die. So she has like completed the 3 tasks, but Amarantha's like, well, I said I released them. I didn't say when. So, you know, nothing solved. And then she somehow figures out the riddle, finally. And with the riddle, Amarantha did say that she would like release them immediately if she solved the riddle. So she solves the riddle, but then she is killed, actually. And then Tamlin kills Amarantha, and then she's actually transformed into High Fae, like to save her life, basically. So now she's High Fae. And yeah, like the curse is broken, magic is back, I assume. And yeah, she's High Fae, and that's where it ended. So let's go into my final thoughts. So starting off with the characters, like I already said, I didn't like particularly love any of them. They were okay, all of them. Like Farah, there's nothing really wrong about her, but also I don't love her. I mean, she annoyed me a little bit, but like she's okay. And it's just, you know, so convenient that she didn't figure out the riddle, which was, you know, so much more obvious than like figuring out that Tamlin had like an actual heart of stone, especially because heart of stone is like an expression, you know. You say people have a heart of stone, they don't actually have a heart that is made of stone. So like the fact that she figured that out before she figured out the riddle, anyway. But like, yeah, she's okay, she's fine. Tamlin, I don't like him particularly. Like I don't hate him either, I just don't like him, I guess. And then Lucian, like he's funny. He's definitely like my favorite character just because he's funny, and you know, he made the scenes more fun. But I also don't like particularly love him. And then Resend, he's also okay. Like he's, you know, supposed to be seen as like not nice in the beginning, but like it's obvious that he's helping her. So, you know, I don't love him for sure, but like I'm hoping I will in the future books. So, you know, there's that. The characters are all okay. Like, I don't hate really any of them, but I also don't really love any of them. What I really did not like was the romance, which, like I said, I'm not supposed to like it anyway, like in the long run. So I'm not really like, doesn't really matter, but yeah, it was not like fun to read for sure. But what I did like was like the magic part and like the mysteries about the magic, like the fantasy side of the book I definitely did like. And I didn't, however, like the last third any more than the rest, really. Like my friend said, you know, you're gonna get to the good part. And I'm like, where's the good part, you know? So yeah, I was debating whether to give it 3 or 3.5 stars because, like I said, I liked it, but I didn't love it. But I think it's closer to a 3, so I am gonna give it 3 stars. And I'm pretty sure that people like the other books more than the first, especially the second book. I think the second book is like people's favorite from what I remember, like from reviews I've seen. So I'm excited to get to the second book, and I hope I love it, or I hope I at least like it more than I like this one. But yeah, that is everything for this book, and that is everything for this video. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you have enjoyed it, and if you did, give it a like and subscribe, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!